What's going on, Drinking Buddies? Brand new podcast coming right at you. But you know what we got to do first. We have to talk about those things that generate a little revenue for the show. First and foremost, we are brought to you by the Patreon at patreon.com/MattSlayer. Support the show for as little as $3 a month for less than the cost of a beer. On top of that, you get ad-free audio, the video versions a week early and uncensored. You get the entire video back catalog, and you get my undying gratitude. Some of those were worth more than others, I'm fully aware. But check that out today at patreon.com/MattSlayer. We are also brought to you by the merch store at anwd.net/merch. I'm constantly throwing up new designs. Be sure to check out the new metal ass drink up motherfucker hats and, a bunch of other random ass designs that I've been throwing on the merch store. Once again, at anwd.net/merch. And every piece of merch purchase, of course, helps support the show. Last, but certainly not least, the easiest way to support this podcast is twofold. One, tell your friends, just signal boost. Let people know about the show. The other is go to youtube.com/andnowwedrink and subscribe. Feed the algorithm. Help bring more and more drinking buddies into the fold. But that's enough with the ads. Let's get on with it. My guest this week, you may know her from Naked News, the one and only Laura Desiree. This episode gets pretty sacrilegious pretty quick, I do have to admit. But Laura and I talk alcohol, pop culture, religion. It goes all over the place. It's a lot of fun. Ridiculous episode. So sit back, relax, pop a cold one, and enjoy, Drinking Buddies. What the hell's going on? Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me and serving me this immaculate California Pinot Noir in a Jameson snifter.
That's how we roll.
I'm obsessed, and it's exactly what I needed. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. It was just like, that bottle. I actually ordered 2 bottles, and the Uber Eats guy just lost the second bottle.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, my favorite thing in the world was that you messaged me ahead of time, as a professional does, and you said, well, what's your poison? What do you drink? And I think I threw you for a loop. You were like, red wine. It's not going to be nice. Like, does no one drink wine on this show?
I mean, it happens. And a couple times where I've ordered wine, I had one guest be like, this isn't going to work. We're going to order something else like once they got here.
No, come on.
Yeah, that happened.
Come on. It's a glass. It's a free wine. Accept it. Okay, but yeah, some people can be real snooty about it. I mean, I kind of was. I was like, it's got to be a California Pinot Noir. And I already hate myself for having said that. That's so ridiculous. Get over it, girl.
It's okay. People get very, very much about their wines. They're like, no, this region, this grape, this.
Yeah.
It's the thing. And I'm not mad at it. You can't just hand me any whiskey and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's fine.
Really? Really? So wait, what's your whiskey then? Am I looking at it somewhere? Oh, you're an Elijah Craig guy.
That's the house wine. That's just the everyday.
Yeah.
Well, yes, every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's good shit.
And for the price point, it's amazing.
Okay, but what about do you ever, because Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, that's kind of got a romance to it when it comes to the whiskey experience. It's there's little moments of honey. There's little moments of maybe a sherry cask, little infusion. But if you were to hit it hard with the Isla whiskeys, like the Lafroig, where it just kicks you in the face with campfire smoke, does that make you happy?
No, I actually am not a fan of Scotch. There was a bottle of Ardbeg sitting on the bar that's probably going to be there for another year or so. Because it was purchased for Anna DeVille in January. And she does a show when she comes in country every January. The bottle I bought her 2 years ago was here when she got here this year.
Yeah.
So that bottle of Ardbeg is safe.
Yeah.
I'm not into smoky peaty whiskeys. I like bourbon. I like the spice of rye, but not the smoke.
Yeah. That stuff is hardcore. That's really hardcore. And you think wine people are anal. The Scotch and whiskey folk, they're all about the temperature of the water that gets, maybe a spit or splash in the mix itself. the ice cube, the shape of the ice cube. Give me a break.
Is the ice cube not clear? Well, we can't use this.
Yeah. One of my first jobs I had when I moved to New York City when I was 20. Well, I moved at 18, but, I officially started working after school around 2021. I worked at a cigar and whiskey bar called Bar and Books, and it was in the West Village. My job was to wear a pearl necklace, earring combo, red dress, and sit on men's laps and cut their cigars and warm the body of the cigar and serve them their fancy scotch and whiskeys. It was ridiculous, but this is where my vocabulary for it came from.
And that's a beautiful thing. I love those places. Like, I am not bougie about many things in life, but like joints like that are just my jam. I also like looking like a scumbag in spots like that.
Oh my God, it was all solo dudes in there. And like, they were lovely, don't get me wrong. But if you were to just take the visual of it, it's a lot of heads hung low with a lit cigar staring into an ashtray. And I'm like, guys, this looks really depressing. Like, let's spice it up a bit. And going home smelling like an ashtray was not my favorite thing in the world.
Well, at least you were going home smelling like fine cigars instead of like a fucking pack of Marlboro Reds.
No, it was the fine stuff. That's why I name dropped Cohiba Toro earlier.
I know.
I was like, I can play in this.
You got a couple of Cohibas sitting in the humidor.
Yeah, in the humidor, of course you have one.
Well, they go bad.
So would you bring cigars into the show as well?
I would love to, but I don't smoke inside.
Okay, we got some limits then. Good.
Yeah, no.
Good.
Technically, I'm not even supposed to be smoking on my fucking balcony.
Really?
But I've been in this building so long that, like, when they put in the no smoking building policy, it wasn't in my lease. I'm like, I'm not signing that addendum.
Yeah. Wait, you're not allowed to smoke on your own balcony?
Yeah, that's what they say.
That is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. It's your
balcony. LA.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you're supposed to go out onto the street?
Sure. Not doing it.
Absolutely not.
Like, I will compromise. Like, I don't want to smoke indoors, especially a cigar anyways,
Yeah.
like, unless it's well ventilated, but fuck you. I'm smoking on my goddamn balcony.
Okay, strangest place you snuck a smoke.
In my life? Oh, shit. I'm trying to think of, like...
I used to be a cigarette girl. I used to smoke cigarettes.
Oh, I had a pack and a half day habit in the late 90s, early 2000s.
What was your brand?
Camel Lights.
Camel Blue.
Nice.
Wow. Is that the same thing? Is Camel Light and Camel Blue the same thing?
I believe, because back in those days, they had Camel Filter, Camel Light, and then they had the wides. They didn't have the colors of the camels at that point.
Yeah. Camel Blue was my jam. And I remember smoking in a train bathroom, like a moving train car.
Oh, shit.
I would never take a risk like that again.
I take that back.
Yeah.
I definitely have smoked in between L cars, like in Chicago.
There you go.
Like just in between the cars outside.
I know. And it's like, why would we ever take those risks? Because we needed the cigarette that bad.
I mean, I was also drinking while doing it in between the cars.
Of course. I was definitely having some margaritas, 100%. And I was like, okay, this train bathroom, perfect spot. Didn't give a shit about the ventilation. Didn't give a shit about the obvious I'm going to get caught. And I did, which is an awful feeling. Oh, my God. But the things we do for what we love, right?
Conductor catch you, or
No, with the person that comes by with the drinks and the let me check your ticket shit. Yeah, that person was like, you've been busted, and I'm gonna ask you to get off at the next stop. And I had to. I was on my way from Toronto to Detroit, and I had to get off the train. Yeah.
So what? They drop you in Windsor?
Yeah, pretty much. The train only went to Windsor, so it was the stop right before. No big deal. You hop in a taxi at that point.
Right, just go into the tunnel and...
Oh, totally. Yeah, but it was, the days of being wild. I'm less and less of that these days, which is, I know, boo. I'm like my glass of wine. What a thrill. I'm breaking all the rules right now.
The sun's still up. Come on. We're breaking some rules, right?
Yeah. No, the sun is still up. And again, I'm like, I will definitely be in bed by 9:30 tonight.
Lucky you. I will be prepping for my second podcast.
That is just, there are some people that are moon people and some people that are sun people. And I know how woo-woo that sounds. Like, trust me, I'm kind of cringing. But here's the thing is I've realized in the mornings, I open up all the shades. I want all the sun to come in on me. I don't know why. It's the way I start things, but I need that energy of it. Like, I want to be blasted first thing in the morning with sun.
See, I'm the polar opposite. I haven't moved my blackout curtains in over a year.
No.
Yeah.
Do you sleep in complete silence?
Mm-hmm.
And complete pitch black? Mm-hmm. My biggest fear. I can't believe you're saying that right
now. Oh,
now.
yeah.
No way.
Well, technically not complete silence. I have a fucking CPAP machine, so
Yeah.
because otherwise it would be very much not silence.
Exactly. I personally, I need something playing, and I am the idiot that this is so hilarious. I will sleep with a sleep mask, but like full lights on, or like a couple of night lights. I can't sleep in pitch black. I cannot do it. I don't know why it scares me. Like, grow up. But there's something about it, the unknown. I can't relax in it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, you found what works for you.
Yeah.
That's the important
Yeah,
part.
but then, if you're ever sharing that space, come on. That's always a hard bargain to drive because people will be like, "No, I'm sticking to my what I like, my preferences." And when it comes to sleep, we should be demanding about it.
Yeah, we spend a third of our lives in theory doing it.
Not me.
I mean, I put a big asterisk with that. Like,
Yeah,
because definitely not a third of my life spent sleeping.
I need more sleep, like straight up.
Oh, see, I'm the other way, where I have a lot of sleepless, like just not sleeping. And
Really? Oh, I need. I'm realizing like I can't go as hard as I used to. So I'm 34 now. Shocker, I know. But like I think about my 20s and I'm like, oh, how did you do that? I would go days and nights and days and nights and days and nights, like early burlesque performance days in New York City, where you would do a show, then you would go out and hang out and you'd stay out till dawn and then you'd go get breakfast. And then it's like, I could never do that today. I could never survive that. Oh my God.
I bet you could if you really tried.
Oh, I would need a lot of special aids and whatnot. I would definitely be like, who's got that caffeine drip? Like, I would need help doing it. Oh.
See, my goofy ass. I closed a bar last night and then was up by 9:30 to start editing this morning.
Seriously?
Yeah.
But closing a bar in LA is what, 2?
2.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a reasonable amount of sleep. But
yeah, that's not bad. How far was the distance from the bar to your bed?
About 20 minutes. I walked it.
See?
Like I was being a responsible human. I'm like, I'm gonna just walk home tonight. I'm not gonna.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
But I'd done the show, kept drinking at the bar.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of alcohol involved.
Oh, of course there is. I mean, it sounds like it's a big passion of yours.
Sadly, yeah. When we put it like that, it's like, hey, substance abuse, your passion.
You know what? I think in our modern world, most importantly is to just come to terms with some of these things and not be avoidant of it, right? So why not?
I'm obviously not avoidant of it.
No, I love that. The presentation was very proud when I walked in here. I was like, oh yeah, we've got some alcohol on the table. Okay.
Oh yeah, my guest last night actually wants me to subject people to this, but I'm not going to do that to you.
What is that?
Jepson's Malort.
Can I smell it?
Oh, you're not going to want to, but
Why?
sure.
What alcohol proof is it?
Oh, it's not very high proof.
No, it's not. Why do I not want to smell this? I'm terrified. It's only 35% alcohol.
It doesn't smell like it.
Really?
It's a Chicago thing.
It's kind of like dog food. It's like if dog food was alcoholic. I don't like that.
No.
What is that? That's not cute.
No, it's not at all.
That's like...
That's why I'm not doing it to you.
Yeah, that's like not cute. I bet I know what it tastes like just from that smell. It's kind of like barley-esque. Like it's got a roll in the hay to it.
It tastes like gasoline.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, it's horrible. And it stays on the tongue.
No, thank you. Yeah. No, thank you.
No, it's literally one of those things for like, in the Chicago bar scene, it's just popular to do it. And it's kind of just being trolly to everyone involved. And it's kind of like a test of your mettle, like, oh yeah, this is no big deal.
Okay, so like people drink it like a shot?
There's something called the Chicago handshake, which is a shot of Malort and an old style.
Yeah. No, thank you. I no, thank you.
You know that's why I wasn't legitimately offering it.
Okay, no, yeah. Let's just. I'm gonna look at it, but that's about as close as I'm getting. I remember being in Negril, Jamaica, when I was filming with Naked News. We would do these visits to hedonism constantly. I've been to hedonism 5 times. You only need to maybe consider going once. 5 times in my life, and I'm gearing up to go again later this month. But they take their rum very seriously, right? And they've got the all-you-can-drink experience at hedonism because that's what the name says. And someone offered me one of those, like, I don't know, 1,000-proof rums. What is the name of it? It's not going to come to me right now.
Bacardi 151?
It might have been 151. It might have been 151. It's insane. Like, it burns your face.
Yeah, it's 151 proof.
Yeah, it fucks you up, right?
Like, it's legitimately flammable.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, let's see if Laura wants to do this." And I thought, who cares? It's a shot. Like, it's over and done with like that. I swear to God, I left my body for a solid like 5 minutes. It takes a long time to come back down to earth. And then even when you return, you don't know yourself. It was the most intense fire-breathing journey of my life.
Oh,
and I will never do it again.
This will be worse.
Yeah. Is that right? No, thank you. Wow. Lesson learned. Okay.
So if anyone ever offers you that, just don't.
No. I mean, it already has like this super medieval font to the bottle, which says pain to me. I think of medieval tortures and say, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, it's technically a Swedish liqueur made with wormwood.
Wormwood.
Yeah.
That's one of those old, like, witchcrafty ingredients.
Yeah, it's...
Wormwood.
It's, in theory, has hints of citrus. I've never had any citrus that tastes like that.
Please, they say that shit to make you feel a little more friendly to it. Like, oh, I know citrus.
Yeah, citrus is always good. Like, it helps fight scurvy.
Yeah, they go, oh, that's refreshing. I do like a little citrus. Honey, putting my nose in that, there is no damn citrus in that thing, let me tell you. That was just straight gas and meat and barley. There's no citrus there. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
My guest last night spent some time in Chicago, and she thought it would be funny to bring this bottle, and then was like, oh, you should get everyone to take shots of it. And I'm like, that's going to ruin some interviews.
I mean, yeah, as it would. I mean, someone tapped into it, though. That was last night's drink?
Yeah. Oh, no, we did a shot on air last night.
Ooh.
Like, I can completely, I'm so used to this shit. Yeah. I can completely no-sell it. I know exactly what I'm getting to. It's like, you get accustomed to it. It's just like, oh, I know this is going to be horrible, but it's not going to be a surprise.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you can prep for it better than I probably could. I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. I'm happy with my red wine, the more that I age with beauty and brilliance, I'm like, what's the thing that suits me best? Red wine. And my perfect spot is a glass and a half. A little over, and then I'm like, okay, we enter some interesting waters, but a glass and a half, I don't know what it is. Maybe others can attest to this. It's like the most beautiful, encouraging, you go girl feeling of your life. And like, you get a little more romantic. You get a little bit more flexible in ways. And I'm like, okay, this is good. I like this. I like this feeling, but it might change down the line. Right now, I'm very happy with it though.
Well, I mean, they say your body sheds all its cells every 7 years. So in 7 years, you could be like, nah, red wine's out.
But this is like like doctors recommend a glass of red a day. Like, check out the Mediterranean diet, y'all. Supposedly a glass of red a day is so good for the heart.
I feel like doctors don't, I'm not like an anti-vaxxer or anything like that, but doctors don't always know shit. Like, because all the motherfuckers that live to like well over 100, like, oh, I drink a fifth of Jack Daniels a day and a pound of bacon. It's just like,
this is it. I was just on Instagram, and there's this, viral clip of this woman. I'm 104 and I drink 3 Dr. Peppers a day. And it's like, what? I don't know who to believe or what to trust anymore.
See, I want someone to do a study and do an IQ test on every one of these people that make it over 100.
An IQ test?
Yes, because my theory, my hypothesis is they're idiots.
Really?
That they're all dumb and they're not stressed out. And they've just gone through life go, ooh.
Yeah, there's probably some insane like chill in their life, because the reality is stress, that will take years off your life.
Exactly.
These people don't have much wear and tear that's happened to them, right? Like we do need to explore that. I would like the stories of these folks that make it over 100.
It's like, oh, yeah, you can have a car from the 60s or 70s if it's never been fucking driven.
If it's never been driven. Thank you. Well said. My car has been driven and put away wet, okay? Like my shit's been weathered.
Right? I've put some hard miles on.
Definitely some hard miles, okay? I've got all-season tires because we never know what the fuck is coming up.
Exactly. But my theory is people like, intelligence has been shown to higher cases of depression.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I bet every one of these people are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
what are they going to do? They're going to come try to fight me? They're 100 years old.
There might be a weaving theme between well, that's the other thing, right? How adorable. I mean, they're over 100. Would you want to live that long? Does that look fun?
Depends on the quality of life.
That's right.
Because it's like, oh, if I'm in constant fucking agonizing pain and I'm in just like a withering shell, no.
What's the perfect age to croak?
About 15 years ago.
Oh, honey, we're late.
Yeah.
Oh, we are late.
Oh, I 100%, I'm 42.
Yeah.
And this is a fictional age to me. Like when I hit 30, I'm like, this is someone's parents' age, right? Like
Yeah, I know that feeling. Trust me.
Like, I'm not supposed to be 30.
I mean, I love the idea that we are living longer and that, there are some crazy success stories of these people that live into like their 104, 5, 6, 7, 8. Supposedly we might even be able to make it to 120. Maybe. But I'm like, what would I look, feel, and sound like at that age?
And what do you do for fun at 120?
You can't. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't even know if sitting in my skin would feel comfortable at that point.
Right? You just wake up every day like, oh, guess I didn't die.
Yeah, I guess I didn't die. Put another fucking tick on the wall over there, right? Like,
Right.
I don't know if I want that. Mind you, I couldn't tell you the perfect age to go. I mean, if I can't get wet anymore, get me out of here. That's going to be my calling right there.
I'm thankful that many old men before me have fixed ED already, so don't have to worry about like my dick not working. Because I said in the 90s, like, oh, at the point where like sex is no longer interesting and my dick doesn't work, it's time to go.
Yeah, but we've prioritized you guys, okay? Society has been like, we must make sure that men can have sex until the rest of their lives. Like, we have done everything to make sure that you guys have what you need to keep it going.
I know.
It's so new that we're like talking about like helping women feel equipped and able to enjoy their sexuality later into life. And I'm like, this is so fucking overdue. Like, come on. Like, obviously, like, we're celebrating the MILF. We've got women, owning themselves and taking on their singlehood later in life and really just thriving. Like, yeah, they should be able to have every possible sexual experience that they want, just the way that we equipped you guys.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Right?
I mean, y'all like popularizing cougars, going after the young dudes should be much more prevalent.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one should bat an eye when, someone in their 40s is like, yeah, I got a 20-year-old stud.
Yeah.
Because you're both reaching your sexual primes at that point, too.
That's right. And like, honestly, we don't even question it on the flip side.
No.
That's the thing, right? It's like, no, we would never question that in the reversal.
Not in the least bit. Unless dude's ugly, and then they'll be like, oh, he's rich.
Yeah, he's totally rich. He's totally rich. He can afford that. That's fucking wild, ain't it?
Yeah, I know. It's like this imaginary system that we all agree upon makes this okay.
Oh, God. Painful.
It's like, oh, well, polite society says that money, allows all these things. Like, only a couple hundred years ago, it was just made through violence.
I just think it's wild that, like, this is our modern world. I don't know if it's possible to come up with what is necessarily... We're changing what's acceptable. We're changing what should be the normal. And there's some things that we still hold on to so tightly that I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, that's the problem with humanity. It's like, we are super adaptable, but we are so fucking stuck in our ways about so many things. Like, oh, but this is how we've always done. Like, I'm very, I wouldn't say I'm against organized religion, but I really don't believe in it.
It's not for me. I know that it's not at all for me. And I think that there are people that can see their lives improved for the better from it. Again, that's not my story. And then there's a huge reality of people that are basically drinking the Kool-Aid and have a very scary relationship to the world because of it. There's a lot of avoiding confronting aspects of our humanity that comes with some of these really, really strict and rigid religions. And that to me, like, I weep for individuals that aren't able to explore themselves because they are within the binds of their practice.
Beautifully said. Like, I wholeheartedly agree. But
and
then on top of it, it's just like sitting through a full Catholic mass. It's like, oh, this hasn't changed in hundreds of years.
Both my parents were raised Catholic. I was not. But what I will say was that my father's mother, we're Hungarian, so like everyone talks like a vampire and everyone's very dramatic and sexy. And I remember my father's mother used to take my twin sister and I to all the local churches in Toronto, and she would make us pose underneath the statues of, Jesus on the cross or Mary and pseudo pietà positions. And I remember she would take photos of us in these beautiful, wanton, faces looking up at whatever the religious iconography was. But it all felt like a perfume ad. Like we were like filming, like it was like a perfume like promo piece. It wasn't actually like us adoring these things. It was just very glamorous and beautiful. And I do still like going into churches. Don't get me wrong. Like architecture wise, they are fascinating.
Oh, definitely.
Religious art itself, what is it about that orgasmic ecstasy on everyone's face? What is that?
Probably projection on the part of the artist. They were so repressed that it was the only way they could get it out.
But like, why don't we acknowledge that? That the face of, say, Jesus on the cross. I'm probably going to dangerous places right now. And
Oh no.
Okay, good. Jesus on the cross in that like wanton, I just blew my load look. Like every face in religious depictions of, artful depictions, they're always in some state of orgasm or euphoria.
Well, you gotta look at like really old school Catholicism.
Yeah.
Like self-flagellation was definitely a thing. Like
Yeah.
suffering for the Lord was definitely a thing.
So kinky.
Right. Like I love that like some of the most repressive motherfuckers
Yeah.
are so kinky.
Right,
If you
right.
really look at it in another light.
But isn't that wild that they just don't package it as kink? Like the practicing Catholic that then goes and does the self-flagellation. They don't, are they not able to see like that is so fucking kinky? Like you could literally be at the bondage ball in downtown LA and everyone would be like, go get it. Woo, yeah.
Right. Like if you changed your outfit out,
Yeah.
you would just walk right in.
That's it, right? Put that whole thing in latex and you've got a whole community of people that will literally celebrate and embrace you for doing this and being this way. Like it's so insane. It's just, I'm so grateful I didn't grow up in that chokehold of religion. But I think there are people that are able to redeem themselves and their identity once, out of it. So it's not like it's a death sentence if it is something that you're a part of, say, even for most of your life. But it's amazing how close those parallels are. Wow. Right?
It's utterly insane.
Yeah. Yeah. It really blows my mind. But like I said, I'll never turn down visiting these, homes of worship, places of worship. If I'm, say, in Europe or whatever, they're very sexy to me. The silence in them, the hard surfaces, the kneeling, like it's quite sexy to me.
What is the favorite church you've been to?
Probably Sacré-Cœur in Paris, which is in Montmartre. Beautiful top of the city overlook that, it's just such a stunning place. I used to love Notre Dame as well, but part of it burned down a few years ago in Paris. And Europe and its churches. I've been through parts of Italy where there's just church after church after church, and it's the same damn thing time and time again. And yet every time you walk in, I don't know why, you feel kind of special walking in. Like I also love St. Paul's Cathedral in New York City. You walk in and it's like, oh, wow. Wow. Is it St. Pat's? It's St. Pat's, isn't it? Well, I'm really bad. St. Paul's or St. Pat's? St. Paul's is in London.
I will Google. I don't
good.
know.
St. Paul's is in London. St. Pat's is in New York. And I bet I got that one right. And if I did, I'm a fucking genius. Listen to me. Like I sound like I'm an actual.
Yes, it is St. Pat's in 5 points.
Okay, St.
Oh, no, that's Columbia, South Carolina, not 5 points, New York. Never mind. Hold on.
All right.
I'm like, 5 points. Oh, that's New York.
Confirming it, people.
St. Patrick's Cathedral, New York, New York.
St. Pat's in New York and St. Paul's in London. Okay, I was able to place them on the map correctly. Thank goodness. Now I'm still granted entry. Yeah, no, I like being in those spaces.
They are beautiful, and it's also crazy to think that the church is like one of the largest landowners in the world. But
right. I honestly, I cannot even begin to get into how ridiculous it is that I think, the way that they're able to skirt so much of like taxes and what's the rest of us in this country are dealing. I think that that's just so frustrating, but at least they made them pretty. There's some really pretty spaces.
And I'm like, oh, hey, government, if I could stop paying taxes too, I will make things very pretty.
Yeah, exactly.
As pretty as you want.
Oh my God. Don't even get started. If I didn't have to pay taxes, I would be going around decorating everything with flowers and gold negligees hanging from ceilings and whatnot. Like I would definitely take care of the aesthetic.
Right?
Oh my goodness, please. Yeah. I know. Maybe perhaps a new venture for us.
Right? We'll
Yeah.
form a nonprofit out of this.
Yeah, yeah, we probably will. Yeah, I could see that. But no, I love I love doing Europe trips, and I will always, always do Europe churches. They're fucking epic.
So is Paris the number one spot in Europe for you, or?
No, hell no. I've done a lot of Europe. When I was doing burlesque, which was like 10 years of my life, I remember booking a tour through Europe, and I made my way London, Milan, Rome, um, Berlin, Hamburg, Vienna, Budapest, Prague. My goodness. I can't get enough of it. I've gone back for multiple visits. I've done almost all of Italy. I've done so much of London and all the neighborhoods around it. I like visiting Europe. I always go there and I go, oh my God, they're so much cooler than us. Oh my God, they know what they're doing with life. They know how to enjoy it.
Well, yeah, the lame ones came to North America.
Right. Like, it's amazing how refreshing it is. I was just in the south of France for the Cannes Film Fest, and
Jealous, very jealous.
I know, it was fucking amazing. I just watching movies, eating bread, and walking on cobblestones for days. Pretty awesome.
Sign me up.
Right?
Sign
Pretty
me up.
damn awesome. But I came back and there was a full drop emotionally. Like, I had a emotional drop when I came back to America. I was like, we don't know how to live over here. We don't know what we're doing over here. Like, they romanticize and appreciate and are able to value so many beautiful small moments of our day, like just the approval to take a nap in the middle of the day, like the social acceptance around that. I'm like, we really drive ourselves hard here.
We do. We
You know?
absolutely do. And it's one of those things where it's just like, as I've traveled abroad more, I've determined that America is just the number one marketed country in the planet.
100%. I mean, come on. We're just like a country of billboards and 1-800 phone numbers. And I'm like, that's so heartbreaking. Like, I don't know. I'm a hardcore romantic. I'm like, just take me for a walk. Just, like, sing me a song. Like, I'm such a romantic that anytime I'm over there, I feel very content. So yeah, hopefully more future trips over there. There's still parts of Italy I want to go to, like Sicily. I want to go check out Sicily for a little bit. I want to,
hell yeah.
I want to go do Switzerland and have hot chocolate in front of a fireplace. Like, little things like that are insanely cliche, but I like doing that.
Well, and that's awesome because like so many people from America will never experience that shit at all.
Never.
Like, it still blows my mind how few people have passports and how few people that do have passports don't use them, or if they do use them, they go on cruises and fucking all-exclusive vacations.
I'm not a cruise person.
No.
I am not a cruise person, and like I keep getting invited on boats and things, like people, especially in the summertime, they're like, "Hey, we should go on this, even if it's a small little charter around the island of Manhattan itself." I'm like, I can't do it. I'm not a boat person. I don't like the feeling of being in open water. It scares me. Nature is so mighty. I don't even want to try and fuck with it.
Well, especially now with the orcas sinking ships.
Right? I don't even want to try to be where I shouldn't be. Like, I don't want to trespass, Like, the ocean itself is one of the most unstoppable forces, and it will fuck you like that. It'll just fuck you up.
They'll swallow you like 6 billionaires.
Exactly, like 6 billion. Do you remember how long we all held our breath? I don't know. Maybe you didn't. Maybe
not at all.
Yeah, you didn't give a shit, huh?
No, not one.
As those hours were counting down, I'm not gonna lie, I was literally like, I was obsessed with the story. I was like, guys, what do you think they're doing right now? Oh my God, they're running out of air. What do you think? I hope they're meditating. I hope they're laying low. I hope they're barely they're reserving their inhale and exhale. Like, I was so obsessed with that story. I don't know why. It's like tales of destruction can actually be really compelling, obviously. Look at how many of our movies are based on that.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the way that we tell these news stories. We take over every channel and fill it with it. So yeah, it captures our attention. But that one in particular, I was obsessed. I was refreshing my news app every fucking 2 minutes. Not your news story. You didn't give a shit.
Oh, no. I give a shit to a small degree.
Yeah.
Like a small degree. Because it was just like, honestly, I hope they go quick.
And they did.
Then they did. I mean, I obviously don't want them dead, but when you're going to be stuck, like the idea, like that was already a claustrophobic fucking tube, to like just slowly suffocate in there is terrifying.
That's why I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, okay, I might like breath play and I might think it's sexy and I might hold my breath every time I'm about to climax, but the idea of being in a place where there literally is no more air, that is, someone's going to make a horror movie on this plot.
Oh, definitely.
Right? As if it didn't just implode. They're gonna be like, but what if they were down there for those days? Like that to me was so terrifying and so possessing of my thoughts. I could not get away from it.
Yeah, it's just not a fun feeling. Like,
So if someone offered you on that trip, you'd be like, no.
no. I tried to go scuba diving in a very controlled situation one time, and I was just like, nope, this is not for me.
Yeah, I went scuba diving once in Mexico, and I remember we went right before the sun was going down, and it was daylight, and then you have to go down on that little line. You're holding a line, and basically you have to do pressure checks on your way down. Terrifying, because like, what if you don't pass the test, but you can't explain it, and then your head explodes a couple feet lower? I don't know, but you're going down, and by the time we finished looking around, and when it was pitch black. When you returned to surface, it was pitch black. And I was like, this is my worst nightmare. Get me out of here. I don't ever, and the feeling of the pressure in your head, no, not my thing.
Yeah,
no.
I right there with you.
I don't even like flying if I have a cold, like a head cold, because the pressure in the ears is really scary. I sound like I literally don't take any chances in life, and that's not true. Like
I know that's not true.
Right?
I know that's not true.
Like I've definitely had some daredevil shit in my time, but trying to think of it off the top of my head, I'm like, I've never done skydiving. I would do that.
Skydiving's fun.
You've done it?
I've done it. I would happily jump out of a plane again.
Really?
Before I went scuba diving again.
So there was no like fear in you?
Oh no, there was a ton of fear.
Okay.
There was a ton of fucking fear. It was. I've told this story on air before, but it was. I wanted to go skydiving, and it was right after a messy breakup.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a piece of shit, and I put my ex on like all my emergency contact info. I'm like, if I don't make it, she's gonna be the first to know.
Yeah. No. Oh my God. Mind you, I still do that. I definitely, because that's the only phone number I remember off the top of my head. Are you kidding? I don't remember other people's phone numbers. I remember my ex that I dated for eons. Like that's the number I remember. But like I don't know. I do weird things. Like I was at AVN and just this past January working at the Motor Bunny booth. And, my job within the booth was to make sure that people are signing up by dropping their email in the sign up for our newsletter thing. And just to pass the time, I started signing up every family member. And I signed up my dad. And there's this ad that's going around. One of their newsletters for Motor Bunny features the performer Sky Blue. And I love Sky. We're buds. She's cool. But short blonde hair, there's a similarity. My father fully sent me a message and said, congratulations on this Motor Bunny campaign, Laura. This looks really cool. And I'm like, Dad, as if I would sign you up for something that's going to have me riding a Motor Bunny on it and send it direct to your inbox. He was like, so that's not you? And I said, that's Sky Blue. And then I texted Sky and I was like, my father just thought that you were me and I was you. And she said, this happens all the time. It happens all the time.
I'm pretty sure that's a plot of a porn.
I know, right? The offers are about to come rolling in, right? Like, let's get the two of them together. Hilarious, the short blonde hair thing. Even though she doesn't rock that look anymore, that's not the identity. But it's like if you launch into the business with a certain look, especially one that's like pretty rare, the short hair thing doesn't come up a lot. And so it's like, duh, of course, she's always going to be known as that short pixie cut blonde haired performer. But yeah, no, even my father couldn't tell. As if, Dad, I would sign you up for the Motor Bunny newsletters just so you could see me riding a Motor Bunny. Like, calm down.
Yeah, it's a weird thing for him to not, like, I understand he's trying to be supportive, but that's also, like, a weird to be like, why did you send me this? Like,
but I'm also like, do you not know what I look like? Like, I don't know. Can you not like just lean in a little closer to your Dell laptop screen and realize that like that's not your daughter?
It's like, when did she get that mole?
Yeah, I'm like, it's literally not me, dude. Like, literally. Like, I don't know where you think I got those tits from, but that is not me. Right?
Like, where did her tattoos go? I guess they airbrushed them out.
Exactly. Mind you, when I did the Hustler cover just this past April, they photoshopped all my tattoos out. And I didn't even notice it. But I went through all of the spreads, the centerfold and everything. And I was like, there's something very clean and beautiful about this collection of images. Wow. I really like them. I look so clean and stunning and immaculate and my skin looks great. And I didn't realize they had removed all of my tattoos. Which, it wasn't a great pain. I wasn't upset about it, but it's just you don't realize that those things are a part of you until they're gone.
Right?
I'm like, there's something different about these images. It was really wild.
Well, and like I understand, like especially the magazines are trying to sell like the idealized,
Right.
But it's like, come on, these tattoos are part of people's
As if the
personality.
idealized means no tattoos.
Right.
Like, give me a break.
Maybe in 1960.
No, yeah, which it is not, thankfully. Which it is not. Although at times it does feel like it.
I mean, if it was 1960, I don't think you could be doing this interview unescorted by your man.
Oh, no, exactly. Right. Exactly. There's a lot of things that would not be the same. But then again, you see some of the advances of the Supreme Court and you say, okay, maybe we are going backwards. Maybe we are. Oh, but this is a non-political podcast. We're not getting into politics.
I mean, it happens sometimes. It goes where it goes.
It does. Where does it go?
All sorts of places.
Really?
And politics, religion, obviously.
We went there.
We went there. Like, I don't think anything should be all fucking limits.
No. So, like, you just have people spill it right here.
Oh, yeah.
Anything they want.
Oh, yeah.
Anything. Wow. Like my fetish for dentistry.
Yeah. We can definitely dive into that. The only thing I think I've ever put the kibosh on is I had a guest, like a Caucasian guest, drop some hard N-bombs. I'm like, that's not particularly cool.
Whoa, good on you to say no to that.
And she argued with me about it. I'm just like, it's your career, but like this is not cool.
My dentistry fetish. So look, no, this is real, and this is very important for the people to know and to understand. I know that we like to play this game of what's the sexiest profession, because it's what gives us the information we need to know about what stripper we're hiring for what party and what costumes to push, in adult Halloween shops. This is important shit. What is the sexiest profession? I fucking love dentists. I'm obsessed with everything and every way that they go about their job. I love the sterility, the sterile environment of their workplace. I love that kinky chair that, can bend and dip and drop my head lower than my ass. I love that light. What is that light that's on a rack above your head? I love everything about the sound of the gloves going on, the lower voice that the dentist speaks in, be it man, woman, or anyone else. They're in the very calming, soothing
They have to. They have to. Most people are terrified.
I love that most people are terrified, and I love that I'm not. And then come the rollout of the little tools. It's the little tools that get me. They are like these tiny little killers, right? My favorite is that scraper. The scraper, I like the hook that pulls on the gum and pulls down, often conjures a tiny bit of blood, my favorite. But I also love that weird scraper that they use. And you can hear the sound of your own tooth inside of your head. I love the forced mouth open. I think that's like so fun. I love the idea that it's like, keep it open. And sometimes they'll fill it with cotton and your mouth is just past capacity. And they're like, keep it open. And then sometimes they have the hook vacuum that you close your lips around and it. But sometimes in old school spots, they make you lean over a little porcelain bowl and they go, okay, spit. And you're wearing the bib and you go, and I don't know why, it just feels like you're coming up after being underwater for like a year and you come up and you take that breath and you just spit it in the little thing. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's the sexiest thing in the world. I love that experience at the dentist.
You're the only person I've ever heard express that.
I don't understand how people can't just get so hot on this. It's so fun. It's so kinky. The pain is tolerable, especially if you have good dental hygiene. But it's such a thrilling experience. It's like visiting a professional dominatrix. They just see where they can poke and gently get a reaction from you. Like, I love it.
Now, if all professional doms could just take insurance.
Oh my God, wouldn't that be the best? That's a brave new world right there. I could definitely go for that.
I mean, technically, California, massage therapists can take insurance. So if you set up your dungeon as a massage studio.
That's a good workaround. That's a workaround. Is it? I mean, can someone please call the hotline tonight and let us know if they've had success with that business strategy? I'm curious.
Somebody's got to try it, right?
Right. Taking insurance would definitely, that would change the game big time.
It would. Oh.
I wish America would do that with all sex work. It's It's the most holistic shit in the world. I cannot believe how fucking criminalized we want to keep things, how absolutely dangerous we want to keep so many of these realities. I'm like, we're talking, it's right up there with breathing, eating, and shitting. People have the pursuit of pleasure within them. We are all seeking the compassion of an encounter with another person, be it, yes, definition sexual, or be it just like shared time together, which was a lot of what these encounters are about.
Oh, sure. And the crazy part is, like, if I take you to a multi-$1,000 dinner and, sex happens just because of feeling an obligation because of the dinner or some shit, or whatever the motivation is, but you wouldn't have done it if the $1,000 dinner was on the table. Perfectly legal. A-okay.
Right.
Socially acceptable.
Right.
I hand you that $1,000.
Yeah.
And we've skipped the fucking foreplay.
Right.
Oh, we're both going to jail.
And it's so absurd because, if more of our society had a successful release, I do believe we would see a decrease in a lot of the cruelty.
Would hope, but also, like, on the flip side of that is, I don't want to inflict incels on fucking sex workers.
Right. Exactly. Right. That's fucking terrifying. That's a terrifying reality. But there are steps to, am I really about to give steps for departure from the incel community? I'm like, well, I am not.
You need more wine for this?
I'm like, I am not the person. Why on earth would I even walk myself to this path? I'm like, it definitely starts in a solo self-acceptance and maybe getting comfortable with your body and maybe accepting that there are natural aspects of humanity, including sexual urges. And sometimes you have to take it upon yourself. And it doesn't mean that the rest of society hates you or is refusing to interact with you. It just means like, hey, maybe this is step number one. Learn how to self-pleasure. And then from there, you can start doing some social experimenting with actually talking to people, not just for the guarantee of sex, not just for the confirmation that this is going to become something sexual, but just to start having healthy interactions. That's the guidebook right there, incels. Just start it. Start your journey.
I agree. And also, do realize most people don't hate you. Most people just don't think about you.
Yeah, most people just don't think about you.
People are too self-obsessed to think about you.
Yeah.
Like, society doesn't hate you. They don't even know you exist.
I know, but we have ego problems. The thing is, it's like social media and the rise of all that shit has just given us so many ego masturbatory dilemmas in life because it's like, I need likes, follows, favorites. I need all of that to inform my self-worth. And so in the absence of that, well, I must be slipping. I must be a shitty person. And it's like, when did we ever start believing this? Like, this is so tragic.
Well, and what's even more tragic is, that is definitely tragic.
Yeah.
People having to buy likes and followers to try to boost their ego even further.
Don't even. Oh my, I thought we were done with that.
Oh, no, it definitely still happens.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was like way back at the start of Instagram.
Oh, no, people can still buy followers on the gram.
Why would you do that, though? Like, it's just like, why would you want to crowd your shit with bots and fake accounts? Like, how does that benefit you?
Depending on your field, I do understand it because, like, sometimes casting agents and shit like that, if you're in entertainment, look at your follower account and they may not look at it too carefully to see that your interaction's fucking shit.
Right.
So yeah, but I get it at that point.
Yeah, the numbers game of the overall followers, but like it really is a waste of time. But I do know what you mean. It's funny that you said that because even on my visit to Los Angeles on this trip, everyone was like, I reached out to a lot of podcasts just saying, hey, I'm in town. You guys want to, you got a guest spot? What's going on? Shockingly, I do that. Ugh, ew, gross. As if they're not all asking for me.
Right.
But right. But a lot of people would be like, you know what? You're not quite there yet for us. 102,000 followers. You're not quite there yet for us. And yeah, that's a gross pill to swallow.
Right.
That's disgusting. Thanks. That makes me feel like shit about myself. But at the same time, it's not the end of me. I'm like, okay, cool. Also, that's a temporary thing. And I'm not going to let that inform how successful I feel.
Exactly. And also, if the podcast wasn't going to help you gain some notoriety, help expose you, what's the point of you doing it?
What's the point of me doing it?
Like, oh, well, yes, my 104,000 may not be big enough time for you. What the fuck are you going to do for me?
Right. But it's so funny because once they start booking those larger follow guests, people are like, well, we can just keep this going because we've set a standard. But I'm like, what about the quality of the conversation?
Right. See, that's what's much more fucking important to me, and
Right.
I hope that's always the case because like
Right.
I've had guests on the like 4 million plus Instagram followers,
Yeah.
and I think the person who was on last night has under 10,000.
Yeah.
But the quality of the conversation, what actually matters, the content actually fucking matters.
Right. Right.
I don't give a fuck if you have 300 million followers. If you don't have shit to say, I don't want you here.
Right. Well, you probably shouldn't be pursuing podcast opportunities then. Honestly, that's the thing. Not everyone's made to have a conversation.
Oh God, yes.
Right. You must have learned that.
Oh,
I'm sure.
I've told my audience on multiple occasions, you can tell the episodes were like, it was a little difficult because I'm telling stories the whole fucking time.
No, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
No, you're not. You're just vamping the whole time.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's painful. Yikes, that's uncomfortable. Ick. Ooh, I weep for you. Fuck, that's so uncomfortable.
But sometimes you gotta do it.
You're such a cam girl. That's what we do on cam, man. That's the shit we do on cam. I'm like, another 2 hours to go. I guess I'll just tell another story. And then you try and stitch them together in some kind of exciting rhythm, some kind of weaving theme through it all. Or maybe that's just me because I'm a programmer and a producer. And I'm like, I would like this to have some kind of a momentum to it. But no, you're a total cam girl now.
Oh, I'm a Twitch streamer. I get it.
Yeah, you get exactly what this is like.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like,
Once I started doing Twitch streaming, I'm just like, oh, I'm a nerdy cam girl. Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
And you can find little things that trigger a story to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not, you're never in the danger zone. I get it. But some people do not have that comfort in the moment.
Well, they shouldn't be doing this either.
They shouldn't be doing it either. And now we drink.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Oh my.
And it's wild because sometimes it's like, generally anyone who does the show is an entertainer. It's like, well, oh shit, you are just in your medium and you're great in your medium, but take them out of that comfort zone.
People like to have themselves prepared, composed, prepped, and ready with whatever is expected of the fan base that exists for them. You know what I mean? If I'm known as the always political activist, sex worker, advocate, whatever, that's what's expected. And that is actually kind of true in a way. I do feel a little bit of that pressure, and it is a passion of mine. And I always want my words to be very deliberate, and I want them to be effective, and I want them to be sincere. But it is important, I find, to enter situations like this where I don't know the script. I can't prepare the questions. I can't prepare for those answers anyways.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I want. I want that honesty. I want people to overhear our conversations. But that's also like before we got on air, why I prepped you with, I'm not going to ask this shit.
Exactly.
That's from experience of people coming to just do these interviews and they're expecting the stereotypical shit. And then when I go, so what was the last concert you went to? They go, huh?
Yeah.
Music?
Yeah. Like what? Mine was Tom Jones, though.
Nice.
FYI, mine was Tom fucking Jones.
I'm happy to know that he's like 80 something at this point, right?
And sexy as hell. I saw him at the Beacon Theater in New York City. I don't know what his production team is smoking, but they have such a slick experience. So Tom Jones, right? Like, yes, dude is ancient. The voice is still immaculate.
That's amazing.
And there's so much of his career that I didn't know anything about. It's like after the 60s and 70s, there's like this weird 80s, 90s, 2000s moment where like he gets kind of bluesy and gospel-y. And so he did a lot of that shit. And it was very prophetic. It was very epic in the experience of being an audience member. I felt like I was listening to a preacher. And the backdrop of the stage had a kaleidoscope of Tom Jones' face in the moment. So someone had a camera on him during that recording, during that show, and they just streamed it on the screen behind him. Who was that cult leader with the Nikes? Apple White, Apple Bomb, the
Heaven's Gate?
Heaven's Gate.
Okay. Yeah.
That dude. I always remember his mugshot was like this. And that's what Tom Jones was serving that night at the Beacon. They had these zoom-ins of his face while he's in the middle of singing, "What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa." And it's so extreme that it was like cult leader shit.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. Like, I wished I had been high for it because it was so consuming. Like, I literally, like, my soul had been kidnapped and I was just in this audience for Tom Jones. It was amazing. Like, they leaned into it. They leaned into the weird of just seeing this old man sing "What's New, Pussycat." It was fucking genius.
That's fucking amazing.
I love it.
It's like, and I don't know if this is the old man in me talking, but like, I feel like as his generation starts to die out, we're not going to have replacement artists like that.
No, we're not. Are you kidding? The voice alone, I'm sorry, no one sings with a vibrato today. That's the thing. It's like, also, there's no urgency in the music. I am so curmudgeon-y right now. Listen to me. I'm like, there's no good music anymore. I'm such an angry old man right now. But that's like, I only listen to old music. Like, I rarely listen to shit after like the 2000s. And yeah, of course, it keeps me at a disadvantage with a lot of conversations I have with people about music. But I'm a fan of the oldies. And for me, I'm like, you know what's missing in music today is that romantic urgency that you get from like Suspicious Minds, Elvis Presley, that you get in Bonnie Tyler, Turn Around Bright Eyes, I Really Need You Tonight, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yeah.
Like, the songwriting itself. Now we're talking about like, yo, I missed your call. And guess what? I don't give a fuck. Yo, I'm sitting here in my driveway in my, fucking Maybach, whatever. And it's like, what are we talking about? What are we singing about?
Right. Well, it's crazy. Like, technology has just changed so many facets of pop culture.
Right.
All of the, that or the boombox scene from Say Anything.
Exactly.
That would, I just text her.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's it's so true. That's so true. It's like, we don't have to do these presentations of whatever the message is. We can just send it in a text. We don't need to do these giant grand gestures. We can just send a text. So if anything, yeah, it's a smaller effort we have to make.
It's a smaller effort we have to make, and we don't have to put ourselves out there as much, because if I send you a vulnerable text, unless you screenshot it and send it to other people, that's just between us. Something like,
dude, like, can we just like acknowledge a motherfucker like Roy Orbison though for a minute? Like, where is the Roy Orbison of today? And what I'm saying is a human being that's, expected to behave and present in a certain way, which, in his era in the 60s, that Roy Orbison was a guy, a dude's dude. I mean, he was a little more sensitive, but like, to sing the songs that he did, like crying, I was all right for a while. I could smile for a while, but I saw you last night. You held my hand so tight when you stopped to say hello. Oh, you wished me well, but you couldn't tell that I'd been crying over you. Like, fuck off.
Right?
What? You would never hear that shit today.
No.
And he did this over and over and over again. Roy Orbison was just pumping out the emotional honesty. Fuck off. I miss it so much in today's music.
Orbison, Leonard Cohen.
Thank you, Leonard Cohen. Oh my God. Leonard fucking Cohen.
Rest in fucking peace, Leonard Cohen.
Rest in peace, Leonard Cohen. But what a wordsmith, what a poet, what a beautiful, vulnerable soul. Leonard Cohen just like opens a vein and bleeds it out. And he's like, drink it up.
I remember the first time I was exposed to Leonard Cohen was the Natural Born Killers soundtrack of all things, Waiting for a Miracle. Yeah. And I was like 13 or 14 when that movie came out. I snuck in and saw it in theaters.
Ooh.
And that just at teen angsty, like that song just resonated. And from that point, it was just like, oh, Leonard Cohen is fucking amazing.
Oh, beyond.
Yeah.
Beyond. And you know what I like about Leonard Cohen especially is that you can listen to his music and it's a whole experience and it's like riveting, but you can also read the lyrics. You can also just read Leonard Cohen. I have a bunch of books on like his collected lyrics, and sometimes I just read them and it's such a good read. Like, yes, I know he can articulate it with his voice, but it's also really exciting just to read it. Like, what a fucking writer, man. I don't know if we have those lyrics anymore. I don't know if we have the interest to express ourselves in that way. Do we? Who's doing it?
Well, and are they willing to do it publicly? Like, there might be someone who's willing to express that on an interpersonal level, but shout it from the fucking rooftops?
That's what I'm saying, right?
I don't know.
Like, we're talking stadiums full of people singing at the top of their lungs. Like, that's what I'm missing. And that's the kind of affection I love. That's the kind of humanity that I love, the kind that's okay to be absolutely explosive. I am missing it wholeheartedly now. We're just so quiet and small with our gestures. Like, I'm just too intense, I think. I think I'm too intense for people. Like, I run hot. I'm a triple Aries. I'm like super intense. And I love it.
Whatever makes you happy. That's the important part. Shit.
I want people to be intense all the time. I want you to like come to terms with your humanity and like go to the limits of expressing yourself, even at the cost of maybe embarrassing yourself, maybe saying something that makes you cringe. Who cares? Do it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of hours proving that I agree with that. Hundreds of hours.
What's the benefit to your life been by sharing this side of yourself?
I have no fucking idea.
I was going to say, yeah. Unfortunately, we can't really make it a PSA unless you tell the people what the fuck they're guaranteed.
Absolutely nothing in this world. Absolutely fucking nothing.
You're guaranteed that Laura Desiree might walk into your house and sit down for a chat. That's about it. Yeah.
Well, at least that we can give that guarantee because that's the only one that I won't give shit.
Yeah. There's no guaranteed greater glories, but like I do implore all the people of the world to please just be a little bit more honest and a little bit more daring in how you choose to express yourself.
I agree. It's one of those things where like, who cares what other people think? Like,
but everyone does. But everyone does. I know, but I think that that's part of our making. Unfortunately, I think that's part of like what it means to be a human.
Yeah, but you can't lose sleep over it. You can't lose sleep over everyone else's fucking opinion, especially the anonymous people's opinions. Like, if I know you and I trust your judgment, sure.
Yeah.
Your opinion fucking matters.
Yeah.
But if I don't fucking know you, I don't know your expertise, I don't know your background, I don't know what kind of fucking day you're having.
Right.
Why the fuck should I take your opinion? Like,
because we're programmed that way. Because we truly feel that in our pursuit of human connections, it is necessary that we are approved of, that we are in the good books, that we are loved, that and people don't want to admit it. I can guarantee there's going to be comments of people being like, that's not true. I don't give a shit about what people think of me. I don't give a shit about what my reputation is. And it's like, that's bullshit.
Well, I do agree, but like you and I are both technically outsiders of mainstream society.
Right.
So we had to, at some point, take a conscious decision to be like, well, we don't give a fuck what the stodgy people in suits think.
100%. I'm saying, though, like, I agree with you. Dial it down a little bit. Like, I wouldn't let it rule my entire life. But I think all of us as humans do grapple with that to even a small percentage.
Definitely to a small percentage. And like within my peer group, within my part of society, I care.
Yeah.
But to the world at large, I don't give a fuck.
Fuck the world at large.
Right. The world at large.
It's exploding anyways.
Well, it's exploding and it's also...
But wait, no, implosions are more on trend these days. It's imploding anyways.
But there's also like people on this planet that have had such alien existences compared to the life I've lived.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like if you drop them in the middle of Los Angeles, their mind would be fucking blown.
Yeah.
Why do I value the opinion of that person?
Well, until you meet them, I guess you don't.
Right.
I guess you don't. But would you at least consider that they're out there?
Oh, I know they're out there.
Exactly.
I know they're out there. And I'm not diminishing their experiences, their life. You drop me in the fucking middle of the desert and be like, survive, motherfucker. And be like, dude, how do I survive? Because I'm going to die.
I watch all those shows. I watch all that shit alone. I watch that shit constantly because I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. But every time I watch the show, I'm like, I could do this. I could definitely do this. Like, no, I couldn't, Laura. Get real for a sec. Would you know how to build shelter? Would you know how to fend for yourself? Do you know how often I have a dizzy spell because I have forgotten to feed and hydrate myself constantly? Or a heart arrhythmia because all I've had all day is coffee and a Nicorette. And I'm like, wait, why am I having a heart attack? I was just at the gym, and it's like, because you had pre-workout and coffee and then a Celsius, Laura. What the fuck do you think? Meanwhile, I watch Alone and I'm like, I'd win this show. Like, no, you wouldn't.
No.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be tapping out in 12 hours, girl.
And even the so-called expert, like, they exposed that Bear Grylls, like, just wasn't actually doing it.
Wait, did they expose that? Stop it.
Yeah, that a lot of times he was staying at resorts with the crew.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's not hot.
No.
But then again, okay, I've also heard this about, I've never been on Survivor. I did go through 2 casting rounds and they didn't pick me. But then
that's a giant bummer.
I know, but they asked me what my gameplay would be. And I was like, well, I would sleep with everyone and I'd be naked all the time. And I think they were just like, we actually can't have that.
Right. This isn't broadcast television.
Yeah, they're like, we actually can't have that. But supposedly on Survivor, there is so much of like the tent experience around them of production that you don't necessarily really feel abandoned out there. I wouldn't know because they didn't cast me.
Well, that's a bummer.
It's such a fucking bummer. Blur me. Who cares? Blur me.
Right.
I said I would win by like basically seducing everyone on every team. And I was like, this is an angle. This is perfect. Get me on this show.
Right.
I know. No one was down for it.
I mean, they need to make a sleazy 2023 remake. And then there'd be multiple people running that angle.
Right? I think it's still running. I think Survivor. Oh, no. Survivor is still running.
No.
Yes, it is. And that alone, I'm like, how are there still places on Earth to host this show? How are there locations that are new every time? Yes, there is.
Oh my God. Yeah. The most recent episode is May 25th, 2023.
See?
There's 44 fucking seasons.
I know. I remember season 1.
So do I. And it's like
Richard Hatch.
Yeah.
He won, remember?
He was naked a bunch too.
He was naked all the time.
And between the two of you, like, I think America wants to see you naked much more than Richard Hatch.
My entire gameplay was a tribute to Richard Hatch, okay? And still they're like, yeah, no, we can't take her. But I did the interviews and everything. And I was like so ready to go. I actually ended up watching the season I was supposed to, or I was auditioning for, and I was like, yeah, I wouldn't have made it. Too many bugs.
I mean, this is mind-blowing to me, the fact that, like, besides where the fuck do they actually film it at this point?
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is still watching this?
There's a huge community of Survivor obsessors, like obsessed audiences. Isn't it nuts?
44 fucking seasons? Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
And it's still the same theme song. I'm sure if you just close your eyes and let the sound of it come back to you, it will. It's amazing. And it's still Jeff Probst. He is still hosting this thing. Girl, that facelift is fucking snatched. She looks good.
I kind of want to Google what Jeff Probst.
Yeah, he still looks good. I mean, he's aging with like a very seasoned grace about him. You know, I'm all about the crow's feet. They're delicate, but they're definitely there. It's very distinguished.
He's been doing this since 1996.
I know. Isn't that a nuts legacy?
Right? Like, that's mind-blowing. I mean,
Yeah.
I appreciate his job security. Like,
Completely.
you generally don't get that in entertainment unless you're hosting a game show.
That's a long career. That's up there with like Pat Sajak.
Right?
That's up there with fucking Bob Barker. Like, and this isn't a closed set studio show. I know Jeff has it easy while he's there. Let's be honest. You know, he's staying at a nice fucking hotel. And
For sure.
But the thing is like, dude, he still travels there.
Right. He still has to get on a fucking plane, a boat to get to these remote locations.
Yes, he does. And sometimes he has to stand on a weird platform in the middle of the water and say, "Survivor's ready? Go." I watch a lot of it. I watch a lot of it.
Hey, as long as it makes you happy, that's really the important thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many exciting elements of it still to this day. The fact that like probably the best move you could do is go there large. If you go there with excess weight on you, you'll do better than everyone else, because that's when shit gets really crazy, when you get really hungry and when people get really weak and malnourished. I would load up, and then I would go on that show and just let them see the transformation naked, you know, as I just slim and trim down.
That'd be wild. Like, you do the interviews, like, you know, looking like your normal self. By the time you show up, you've got like 2 chins going. Like, they're like, what the fuck? You do not look like your headshot. What the fuck is happening here?
It's all part of the plan.
I came to win.
It's a good move, though. You know, I have a lot of strategies. If you're listening to this and you're being considered for Survivor, please get in touch with me. Like, I have everything you need to know. Hmm.
So what's stopping you from auditioning again?
I think I got to audition again.
I think you do too.
I think I have to audition again. I can't think of a good enough answer to just not do it again. You know, I got really close and I learned that I probably need to change up my gameplay a little bit. I should probably have some other ideas beyond seducing everyone. But like, I
I
think,
mean, once you're there, do that.
yeah, 100%. But I think like I would legitimately be a great castmate on Survivor.
Just come with like, oh, well, I'm just going to, play people against each other.
Yeah.
It's going to be high drama with me.
That's what it is, right? It's like so much of the show is actually about like social manipulation. And it's actually not about like whether or not you can climb over this rope wall. Like, yeah, that the physical abilities come into play. And yes, there is survival elements of needing to find your own food and needing to survive on fucking rice and beans.
Well, wasn't it like one of the first seasons where like the most competent person
Yeah.
was the first person they voted off?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's all a social experiment. And I think that's the lasting appeal of Survivor. I think that's really why it has stood the test of time, is that it's not about the paradisical location. It's not about the fact that, you do these cool, challenges that involve physical feats. I think it's the social manipulation because we as human beings that are self-aware and constantly fearful of how we are received by our community, that's the appeal. That's it. That's it, wholeheartedly. I think it could be a show that goes on, for another 50 years.
I love that you feel human society is going to go on for another 50 years.
Why am I so into Survivor all of a sudden? Never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to come on this show and talk about Survivor. Like, girl, what? Like, I promise I don't have time in my day to even watch Survivor because I'm so busy. But I definitely find time to binge some shit. But I've been binging a lot lately. I've been doing a lot of binges, the Succession, and then I binged. I'm starting Billions now. I'm very late to the game.
Billions is great until later seasons.
Don't tell me anything.
That's it. That's
No,
it.
just the other day, someone came up to me and said, guess what? Axel's back. And I'm like, why are you telling me this? I'm on season 1, bro. I'm on season 1.
I'm just saying the quality declines in later seasons.
Okay, great.
That's it.
I'm glad I have that in like actual video proof because there's some people I might need to show that to when they're asking, so why did you stop watching it, bitch? It sucked.
Yeah, it becomes a little convoluted.
Really?
They probably should have ended it a little earlier.
What's the best TV series of all time?
The Wire? Oh my god. What?
Okay, give me number 2.
Number 2. Are we talking live action only or?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm into some weird cartoons too.
I believe it, okay. I believe it. Yeah, live action.
Live action.
Yeah.
Is cheesy and campy as it is at times, Babylon 5.
Okay.
Because one of the things I love about that show is that they plotted it from the first season to the end at the beginning. They knew where the whole show.
That's smart.
Because that's the problem with most episodic television is they don't know when to fucking stop.
At all. At all. People would love to just keep it going if maybe there's still people watching, you know what I mean? But you got to be able to edit yourself and call the fucking shots on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why The Wire's great. It's 5 seasons. It's tight. Have you ever watched it?
Okay, I hate that you said it like that. Why did you have to ask it? Did you ever watch it? I felt so judged. I'm going to tell you this right now.
No judgment.
My favorite TV show of all time has always been Oz.
Oh, half the Ozcast went on to The Wire.
Stop it right now. Listen, Oz, end all be all. I fucking love Oz.
Right around the corner, I have the entire run of it on DVD.
Love Oz. Okay.
Same here.
Still to this day, I've rewatched it. I still love it, even though parts of it have aged terribly. It's like the whole idea of that dynamic between Tobias Beecher and Vern Schillinger is just so tense and sexy and weird.
And runs the whole show.
It runs the whole show, which I love. So Oz was always my favorite. And then I watched Sopranos late to the game. So I watched these 2 big shows. And then, of course, I did, Breaking Bad and I'm a huge Sex and the City fan, whatever. I'm dating this guy a few years ago. And he says, you really need to watch The Wire. It's the greatest show of all time. And I said, yeah, I'd like to watch The Wire. Let's watch The Wire together. I'd really like to watch The Wire. And I'm talking to more people. You got to watch The Wire. You got to watch The Wire. And so I was on a schedule where I would wake up very early to shoot Naked News, and he would stay up kind of later. And so I'd go to sleep, and he would have the laptop in bed, and he would watch something after I went to sleep. And weeks went by, and I happened to stay up later with him one night. And I said, by the way, what have you been watching? And he goes, oh, yeah, rewatching The Wire. And I said, but I told you explicitly I've never seen The Wire and I want to watch it with you. And he said, did we have that conversation? And I said, well, what the fuck? Well, you can't restart it again now, because like I understand once you're in it, you're in it. And so, yes, at some point in this life, I will watch The Wire. It's going to be a solo fucking journey, though. I am not waiting on anyone else to watch The Wire. I am not going to do tandem viewing with someone. I am watching The Wire on my own by myself, and I don't want to hear from any of you about it.
So, first and foremost, where is he buried?
Listen, that guy is still running gleefully through HBO fields and valleys, okay?
Well, that's...
still... Yeah.
I mean, he is a horrible human being. Like, I hope you broke up with him.
I literally said, I want to watch The Wire. I am so done with how fabulous this thing has been received and how people are just creaming their jeans over it, blowing their load for the fucking Wire. And that's what he chose to watch as I went to sleep every night. And I was like, oh.
And then went to gaslight you about it on top of it. Like, that is a horrible human being.
That's tough, right? Because, dude, come on. So I have yet to watch it. And I know it's so great. It's great, right?
It is. And a lot of the Ozcast went over to The Wire afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the next one for HBO, wasn't it? So, Oz set the tone for, taking on some really insane subject matter and some really fresh and controversial subject matter. And then The Wire came out. And as I understand it, each season is a different perspective of...
It's a slightly altered perspective. So season 1 feels very, almost stereotypical cops and robbers. So it follows some of the drug dealers and it follows some of the police detectives. Mm-hmm. Season 2 changes it up where they start following Baltimore dock workers that are, bringing in weight.
Ooh.
And the same police.
But those other characters are still existing, right?
But they're more of the background.
Right.
Famously, Michael K. Williams, who played Omar, was livid that season 2, came out of focusing on, the black characters, and pushed them to the background. He's like, it wasn't until later seasons that I saw the whole picture and it made sense. But at the moment, it's we have this beautiful black show and you guys are whitewashing it with these white dock workers.
Completely, yeah. No, I can feel that tension. That's eventually it found its way, though, did it not?
Oh, yeah.
People would say as a whole, the anthology of it is incredibly satisfying.
100%, because season 3 goes back to focusing on some of the season 1 characters, but expands it more citywide. And then you start getting into some of the politics of the city of Baltimore as well. The 4th season, which a lot of people consider their favorite season, is not mine. And that is purely because McNulty, who's one of the main cops, who is just a giant fuck up, but he's as a character, he's the guy who's smarter than everyone in the room and he knows it, but he's always trying to get away with shit because
isn't there a media season?
That's 5.
That's 5. Okay, yeah. Because 5, I always hear about people talking about the media one, and I'm like, oh, okay.
But the 4th season explores children growing up in Baltimore and affected by this shit, and
wow.
By the end of season 4, the 4 childhood characters kind of fall into roles of some of the adult characters from the previous seasons.
Yeah,
it's it shows the evolution, and then the fifth season gets into the politics, the streets, and where the media plays in all this.
I just my Nicorette that I just put in my mouth is about to hit my bloodline. Hang on, it's entering through the gum. It's coming through the gum, and I'm so satisfied right now. Okay, so The Wire is a must-do.
It is.
I might even need to start it tonight.
You should.
The Wire is happening, people.
You should.
I'm going to have a whole review series on it.
And what you should do is get the digital versions because it's old enough that it was aired in 4:3, but it was shot in 16:9. So they did a remastered edition a couple years back digitally where they broke it back out to 16:9.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
a lot of the shots where it's just like, oh, when this originally aired, it didn't look this good.
Okay, so I definitely want to get as good as it gets. That's my whole. I want it to be the most primo experience of witnessing what people are calling the greatest series of all time.
Yeah.
That's the number one answer I get when I ask anyone about the greatest TV series. I'm like, dude, really? Obsessed with it.
I rewatched all 75 episodes during the pandemic.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, so fuck it. I got to do this then, big time.
Yeah, 75-hour-long episodes.
Okay, good. Well, what are we doing? I should hop on it right now.
Oh, we're just calling the podcast?
Yeah, we're going to call the podcast. I got to go watch The Wire, guys.
I guess I'll go to my room. You can use the couch. Feel free to. I know you don't want anyone here for the religious experience of it, so.
I don't want anyone to interfere with my journey with The Wire.
I'll just set you up. We'll, get you another glass of wine.
That's all that matters.
Just let me know when you're ready to go. I'll just.
Cool. I'm into it. But hey, I mean, this has been a smash.
It's because the problem is like as much. I love Oz. I do actually love Oz.
Yeah.
But there's points where like the musical episode, like.
Listen, there's some moments even in the spoken word poetry that doesn't really. It's not as cool now.
I don't know. When I watched it when it aired the musical episodes, like this just feels like the writer's room went a little crazy here.
Well, I'm all for writers taking some chances. I mean, right now they're taking chances on better working conditions, and I am so with them, and I wish I could rally with them right now because I'm like, we need writers.
Oh, yeah.
We need them, but sometimes they take weird choices and make weird decisions, right?
They do. And like
sometimes it's a risk.
I appreciate it when it's tonally in line with the overarching product, or if it's a one-off thing, please be weird as shit.
It's so funny. I don't remember the musical episode. I remember Buffy had a musical episode.
Oh yeah, Oz definitely had a musical episode.
Then I must have blacked that out of my
Season
mind.
4.
What?
Yep.
Does everyone have a song in it?
I believe so.
That's so disturbing.
Right.
I don't even remember that.
Season 4 is the double season.
Yeah, I know. I won't even register it then. I must have just
You're like, nope.
Entirely. I'm like, wait. And so, oh my God, that's so disturbing. Does Dean Winters, is he sick yet?
Well, Dean Winters recovered from the breast cancer in season 2.
Right, in season 2.
So yeah, he's healthy again by that point.
Okay, just
why did I remember that off the top of my fucking head? And like purely weird tangential Dean Winters story.
Yeah.
Dean Winters randomly walked into my 30th birthday party. Like,
oh, right on. Right on.
He was looking for cocaine, apparently.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I see him a lot in New York. He's a good dude.
He was really cool. Like, did shots with me and everything, but like, yeah, he rolled into the bar I was throwing my 30th birthday party at.
Hilarious.
I'm like, oh, dude, Rhino Rally's my favorite character.
Yeah.
Like, mine too.
Yeah, no kidding. Right? I mean, that's a pretty good launch into the business.
Yeah.
That was a really awesome show. And I know we've been saying that for like the last 20 minutes, but like Oz was great.
Oh, yeah. And criminally underrated because everyone does talk about The Wire.
Yeah.
And as I said, a lot of people came from Oz and went to The Wire.
Yeah.
Or the fact that was launching point for J.K. Simmons. That was,
right.
Or Chris went on SVU.
Yeah, Maloney.
Yeah, Chris Maloney.
Oh my God, Chris Maloney. Whew.
Right. Like, and the fact that Chris Maloney was playing, a sexually fluid character.
Completely. Like, there's some. Okay, do I totally rewatch parts of it and pleasure myself? 1,000%.
Which character are you pleasuring yourself?
Chris Maloney.
Hey, I don't know. You could be into Alibi, see?
I was, but I was also, I'm into most. Okay, listen, I'm into all. I'm even into what's his face, Lord Jamar. I'm into all of them. Okay, I'm into literally all of them. Every castmate on that show. I'm like,
even Evan Seinfeld.
Yeah, maybe not. There's a couple I could let watch. I would let them watch, okay? But no. I there's some really hardcore moments in that show that are just so convincingly acted and are so beautifully told, even though it's disturbing or heart-wrenching. It's like there's a real fearless approach to telling that story that those actors brought to it, and I commend them for that. It's a great show.
Yeah, well, just like I wouldn't call Beecher's relationship completely a loving, like, gay relationship on a major, but there were points where it was loving. There were, and like to have that shown, 23, 24 years ago.
What I'm saying is like we have evolved as a society to handle some of these conversations and to understand realities and be accepting of them. But even 23, 25 years ago, like that was still a different time.
Oh, that was definitely taboo.
Right. Like hella taboo. And even as you're watching it, I love the conflicts you experience in yourself about like, can I trust this love? Can I trust this companionship? Or is this something that's ultimately manipulation? Because the desperation that exists in the prison system is profound.
Well, yeah, Schillinger started off by telling Beecher that like he was going to protect him and take care of him, and
right. Made him his bitch.
And then made him his bitch.
Made him wear that lipstick.
Yep.
Right? So fucking good, dude. What a show.
Right?
I need a new show like that. Like, I need to be obsessed with one again to that level.
I don't know what you could like. I don't know what is that groundbreaking at this point.
Maybe it's just that I need it to be groundbreaking, but also like maybe it's because I require a certain level of challenging subject matter. I don't know. Maybe I need violence and sexuality and controversy in my like. Would I be satisfied if Under the Tuscan Sun with Diane Lane was a series? I would never watch that. I would never watch that. Do I need to watch, you know, a gardening show, you know, led by Kathy Bates? Absolutely not. I would prefer to watch something a little bit heavier and headier.
What were your thoughts on Euphoria?
You know what? I watched like the first couple episodes of Euphoria, and I don't know what it was. Was it that it was too close to my teens and 20s, or was it that I felt so much older than all of them? But I kind of stepped away from it. I was like, I don't know if this is my show. I don't know. Like, it was very bleak at times. That was the point, right?
Oh, 100%.
That's the point of it, right? That's the point of it. And here I am saying I love those things, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
But the young people are being so bleak.
But I started watching it. You know, Euphoria came out in my like early 30s, and so I think I was having a hard time accepting that, like, you know, young people are this cool and are this daring and shit. I'm like, no, I was, and the rest of you've all been losers ever since. You know, like I was the one that was that cool. It's just so dumb the way we reflect on our life when you enter your 30s. I'll revisit it though.
Well, and especially the second season gets even more daring, and like, from a technical aspect of it, the fact that like they shot the whole second season on actual film.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the whole second season they shot on actual film. They had Kodak recreate a film grain that they liked. Like they talked. I was just like, they're like, we like the look of this film, and Kodak doesn't make it anymore, so we had them make it for us.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I wonder what else was shot on that film, just so I could get a reference in my mind.
I would have to look.
Yeah, I know. I'm a nerd like that.
But it like. I was just like, that's inspiring on film nerd shit. Like that, like, oh, your DP like and Sam Levinson were both like, we like this grain. We're gonna have Kodak make it for us. Like,
no, I appreciate that. I really do, because look, in the rise of CGI today, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. And I know this is gonna rub people with fucking sandpaper right now. I can't do it, Matt. I can't do it. I can't do CGI orgy fuck fests. I can't do it. I can't do movies shot entirely on a green screen. I can't do actors entirely in morph suits with their face digitally imposed on it afterwards. That's not a movie to me. That's a video game. And I play Dead by Daylight constantly. Like, I love video games, whatever. But I do not want to see this art form of cinema go down the drain with our dependence on the shortcuts in life called fucking CGI. Build a set. Jim Henson did it. Build a puppet and put your fist up it. I would rather you make animatronics than sell me on something that wasn't even on set with the actor to begin with. Like, I just don't, how am I supposed to believe that? And yet everyone's like, the new Guardians of the Galaxy. Wait, Laura, just wait. No, I'll be waiting forever. I'm never seeing it. I can't do it. Can't do it.
I enjoy Marvel movies. I do, but they're not like, oh my God, it's something brainless and fun I can just, you know, kind of turn off and go. Like, no Marvel movies ever like made me deeply inspired me or given me any deep thoughts. Like, the only thing that came even close was like some of the scoring in Endgame.
Okay. Scoring. Okay. Like, scoring.
Like the musical score, like,
good. I can close my eyes and I don't need to look at the CGI and perhaps just enjoy the audible elements. Yes, I'm on board.
Because they 100% like they hit just great emotional notes, like, you know, of 12 years of fucking filmmaking or video game cutscene making, as the case may be.
That's exactly what it is. Thank you for acknowledging that. A lot of people don't want to draw that connection.
But they had some great emotional beats, and like it was good payoff, but a lot of it had to do with the scoring.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things like on the movie theater experience that bums me out, that things are going more towards streaming and shit too, is like, no matter how good your home theater is, it's not the same thing as sitting in a dark fucking room and hearing the theater sound and lights.
And more than that, sharing that environment with other strangers, where you are experiencing on some level, whether conscious or subconscious, it's an energetic thing. You're in a room with other people and you are all locked into this ride. There's like studies about how powerful the experience of going to a movie theater is, and the way that we blur the rest of our visibility and the rest of our access to reality and hone in completely on that screen. I don't ever want to lose that.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I am a giant film nerd.
Yeah.
And I will freely admit, my ADHD takes over when I try to watch movies at home, and I pick up my phone, I look at shit.
Same.
You put me in a movie theater, I am locked in.
Do you ever feel guilty about the fact that you do that at home? Like
I do.
I do too. And I'm like, what happened to me? I used to be able to sit and watch a movie, but I'll be watching, and it could be a great movie, something I've had on my list for years. But watching it at home, I'm like, what's going on? What do they want? What's that alert? What's that? What is that? And then I'm not as into it as I am when I'm in the theater. In a movie theater, I never take out my phone. Why would I take out my phone? You know, I'm not. I've surrendered to the experiment and the experience.
Well, and that's why I love places like Alamo Draft House or theaters that like that. You take your phone out once, you're fucking out of here.
Out. Yeah, I'm that hardcore about it.
You should be.
I really am. I mean, to me, I'm like, anytime I see someone open up their phone in a movie theater, I'm like, who are you?
Were you raised by fucking wolves?
Well, why would you do that? Like, also, it's what, 2 hours, maybe 2.5, maybe the odd 3 to 4 hour, maybe. But like, you can't go without watching it, looking at your phone. You can't. Like, then leave. If you don't like the movie, then go.
Right. Go to the bathroom, check your phone.
Exactly. Just don't do it in my womb of focus.
Exactly. Have you ever been to the New Bev?
Yeah, I love the New Bev Cinema. Are you kidding me? Just the other night, I went to go see the original Talented Mr. Ripley, Purple Noon, with Alain Delon. And he is a sexy motherfucker. And to me, personally, I remember when Talented Mr. Ripley came out, I thought, this is one of the best movies of its era. You know, early 2000s. I don't remember when it came out. What, 2000, 2001, maybe 2004?
I think somewhere around there.
Let's look it up. I still to this day am like, that one really stands out to me. And I never knew
99.
Okay. 99 was a good year for movies, actually.
It was.
There's some really good shit that year.
That was the first Matrix, too.
First Matrix. I think Magnolia's in there as well. Like, there's some really good shit in 99.
Some people argue with you about Magnolia.
Okay, people, come on. Bring it on. Let's go. Bring it on. I'm ready to fight about it. But 99 is often regarded as a really great year for independent filmmaking because a lot of risks were taken. But yeah.
Magnolia is also 99.
See, I'm telling you.
Well, that's a bigger topic also because so much of that was produced by Miramax.
Right.
It's like, how do you divorce such great art from such a fucking monster?
Right. I know. But that debate.
We could do on another time.
That debate is like almost all of art.
Yeah.
Depending on how you examine a human and how you hold them up against the wall and try and find what's right and wrong with them. There's a lot of troubling realities about people and people that choose to get into arts or arts and commerce. Like, you're dealing with power, you're dealing with honest expression, you're dealing with dishonest expression. Like, there's a lot of monsters in the work that we love and we hold dear. It's a tough pill to swallow, you know? It really is. Am I going to keep playing Michael Jackson till the day I die?
Oh, yeah. I fucking R. Kelly's a giant monster, but like, you know, bumping.
Some undeniable bangers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Undeniable bangers. And it's hard, you know, because as a society, we're becoming a lot more like less resilient, I suppose, to our sensitivities. We're in the age of cancel culture, and in many places, yes, it's deemed fit, and it is fit, and it is the what we need to be doing, and say goodbye to that person forever. But there are some tricky ones that toe a line where I go, really, really. I'm not going to divulge names right now. I've had a glass and a half of wine, so you do not want me to start dropping names that I think may be wrongly convicted. But the talented Mr. Ripley.
99 being a great year for movies.
99 being a great year for movies. The writer, the critic for the New York Times, A.O. Scott, did a great piece on some of the reasons why he left the job this past year. And it being, a big reliance on these Marvel movies that's coming out, and a lot about CGI becoming our big reality. But he has a great mention on the Daily podcast all about the year 1999 in filmmaking, and just how it's one of the last great years for unique and indie storytelling.
Well, and part of the problem with that is what caused a lot of that shit is fucking piracy.
Yeah.
Ooh,
good point. Ooh.
Because it's one of those things where, like, oh, the movie, the production companies, the studios are losing all this money. They're not going to actually lose money. They're just not going to have money to take risks with.
Right. They're not going to have the money to take risks with. Ooh. Is there a hope for us to return to a year like 1999? Will those things not surface is probably a better question.
Well, we should. Yeah. Because in this day and age, to get the same quality you would have out of professional film gear in 1999 is available for thousands of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why are not more people innovating? What we need is more platforms like YouTube, but ones that will actually let us cater to not adult content, but content for adults.
Oh, yeah, because straight up, there's a lot that YouTube's not going to tolerate in, even just a tiny indie film offering. I'm like shocked at, how tight their censorship is. It's ridiculous. Educational content about sex education or about body anatomy will get taken down. And right. I'm like, this is so absolutely ridiculous.
And it's like, if AMC can have R-rated movies in its theaters, and people definitely still advertise with AMC, why is there not a portal on YouTube for us to make content geared towards adults?
Right. I mean, we can still stay within the confines of, we're not going to be dark web shit.
Right.
Right. But please allow us some freedom that doesn't have so much censorship that we get, accounts taken down. Where can we artfully express ourselves freely?
What someone should make and pitch to YouTube to make is make an independent body like an MPAA.
Exactly.
For streaming content.
We don't have that yet, do we?
No. The MPAA, obviously still covers, major releases that end up on Netflix, shit like that.
Yeah.
But not for a straight streaming platform like YouTube.
Yeah.
Why do we not have an independent body outside of YouTube?
Yeah, we need that. We need that because I don't know how else we're going to find. There's still festival circuits that are smaller and not everything. And there's, streamers that are available on, Vimeo with a certain password and whatnot. But
yeah, but if you're not a professional, you're not going
That's
to
what I mean, right? The future of these things reaching the masses is getting tighter and tighter and less likely because of the platforms that are hosting them. The fact that our trends are leading us to viewing things on streaming.
And people don't want to take fucking risks.
And no one wants to take a risk now. And that's so heartbreaking. But then again, we've built a very rigid fortress that says, I wouldn't try and take a risk if I were you.
Well, there's just no money in it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that happened to fucking music. The major record labels and the big acts, they didn't lose that fucking much money from piracy. It just hurt the next generation of artists that, we can't take a risk on your sound because it's not commercially viable.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to take a risk on something that might be a completely unpredictable. Listen, it's the same reason why people don't just get discovered anymore. You don't just get discovered at, your local salon, or that was our hostess at Friendly's. You don't just get discovered anymore because nowadays anyone wanting new talent knows that they can take or get a better result by picking an influencer or a person that has a guaranteed fan base.
And we come right back to those numbers.
That's it. We come right, whoa, zip it up. Ooh, whoa, who are we? Ooh, zip it up. But you know what I mean? That's the reality. It's no one wants to take a chance anymore on the unpredictable. They can guarantee that shit by seeing how society has already ranked us. Ooh, and next week on Black Mirror.
I mean, we're already there.
I know, we're already there. This is it.
It's absolutely, and it's horrible because it stifles art. It stifles fucking art, not taking risks.
Yeah.
Not having the people the ability to take fucking risks. Like, that's why I love podcasting as a medium.
Yeah.
Because this is the last Wild West medium.
Yeah. Well, while it's here.
While
it's Wild West. This is a good moment for it because any day we could get the lockdown. We could get the restrictions. We could get we're already experiencing some of it. I mean, you can't curse on certain things. You can't express yourself in certain ways on some platforms.
But for the most part, Apple, which is still the biggest player in the game, has been pretty hands-off.
Art as an existing force in our world is meant to be a reflection of our modern culture, of our modern society, both the challenges and the victories and the trending themes, the areas that we are focusing on. And the fact that we are so limited in how we can express ourselves, I'm telling you, we're building up a real big discomfort in the way we express because we're unable to.
Oh yeah, no, we're going towards some 1984 shit. We really are. Because you look historically, why is all the 70s cinema so bleak?
Right.
Why is punk rock so prevalent in the 70s? Because the 70s were super fucked up.
I mean, yeah, you've got draft left, right, and center. You've got
the draft. You have the gas shortages. You have urban blight in a lot of major cities.
Yeah.
You have jobs just disappearing.
Right.
And it made for some amazing fucking art.
Oh my God, it's my favorite decade in film. It really is. The rise of the anti-hero, everything that Robert Evans put out. I mean, we need Robert Evans today. We really do. I know he was a sleazebag. I know that.
Back to more.
See, more conflicting art. Can we love it or not? But it's like when you look at the movies that, he chaperoned into light and to audiences, I go, wow, I really want that. I wish that we had, films that challenged us in the ways that they did in the 70s with Taxi Driver.
Right. Could you imagine making Taxi Driver? There's a character that's a child prostitute in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Could you imagine making, anyone trying to make that?
No, what would that character be? I mean, would he be an incel? What would be the character? I don't know what it would be to create Travis Bickle today, because back then his viewpoints, his anger, his obsessions, his mental ponderings that we, the audience, were a part of, that was dangerous shit. He was a dangerous, we were in the head of the bad guy.
Yeah.
I mean, do I call him a bad guy? I call him human.
Very flawed human.
Very flawed human. But that is a part of our world and our reality. But that's why I love 70s films so much.
Think about trying to remake The French Connection today.
You couldn't do it. No.
Popeye Doyle is just such a the line "never trust an N-word with a knife." As a cop,
Exactly. Or redoing Scarecrow, a movie that's kind of about nothing, right? It's just Gene Hackman and Al Pacino, kind of lost and on the run. They would never do that as a drama. It would be a comedy, and it would be a stoner comedy, and it would be they wouldn't just let it.
Seth Rogen would make it.
Thank you. Right. They wouldn't just be something kind of meditative, and we don't see movies like that now. I mean, every once in a while, there's a small something that makes an impact, but that's it. We don't dissect it. We don't celebrate it as a culture. It's we would rather force feed the fast food of Marvel. And I know you hold it dear, my friend. I know you do.
But I'm also a kid who was a comic dork growing up. So it has
it's sentimental.
Nostalgia. It's sentimental and nostalgia. But it's also I have a poster for The Getaway and Rollerball in the next room.
Nice. Yeah.
Because fucking Peck and Paw is great.
Oh my God, Straw Dogs. To this day, Straw Dogs still sits with me. There's that amazing moments in that movie. I mean, just groundbreaking in the idea of, is this an assault or is this asked for? You know what I mean? There's so many great conversations within that film. My God.
I'd like to think, because it's so relatively cheap to make a movie these days, that there's got to be people out there making shit, but how do we discover it? How do because it's also so cheap, how does that fucking shit stand out from the noise?
How does it?
Right.
No, but it's hard to stand out from the noise because you look at what's in theaters today and that's the majority of it.
Yeah.
That's the bulk of it. That's what gets funded. That's what gets pushed onto our billboards in our faces. And, I'm seeing more and more stars jump ship and go down that path as opposed to taking on some groundbreaking material. And I'm like, okay, there goes another one.
I mean, I understand making the payday. I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
But
Work.
speaking of like Seth Rogen, like I try to support pretty much anything he makes because he's one of the few people making original content in the Hollywood system.
Yeah.
I may not love a lot of shit Seth Rogen has made over the years, but I at least try to support it just because it's like, this is a fucking someone trying something different. Anything different.
He's a cool dude. He's a really cool dude. I had a really great conversation with him about what it means. He had a statement about how much harder it is to do comedy versus dramatic roles. And we got into a huge conversation about it because in my mind, as a drama fan, I'm thinking, how can you say that doing a dramatic role is easier than comedy? What? I'm like, comedy, you're just making people laugh. Who cares? Just make them laugh, whatever. I'm not a comedian. I've never wanted to be. I'm like, how can you say that? Because I think about, actors like De Niro and committing to this really ugly role of Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver. And oh my God, isn't that a huge undertaking? Or Dog Day Afternoon and just being that close to a heart attack for, I'm sure, weeks of production. Al Pacino, but he had a great almost a lecture of why comedy is so challenging. Right. And why it is like what it means to make comedy and be on a film set and, be in an environment where people want to get the job done, but you're still questioning. Like you might be supported by the team that's making the movie, but you're still questioning, is this really funny or not?
Oh, I 100% get that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where like, if you're doing stand-up, you get an immediate reaction in the room right there.
Right.
Did this work or not?
Right.
When you're doing podcasting, if my guest is laughing, okay, I'm confident that this is funny.
Right. Yeah, that's the only affirmation we get.
Right. If you're on a set surrounded by the people you paid to be there, how do you
really gauge it?
Yeah, how do you gauge it? How do you know if it's honest? Even if they are laughing, it's like, this person's livelihood is based on making me happy.
Right. Speaking of comedy, though, straight up, speaking of stand-up comedy, that's right up there with jumping out of a fucking airplane to me. I've done it.
Well, good on you.
Terrifying shit in the world. I don't know. Every single night, people are doing it. This thing that is so shockingly icky and vulnerable and risky. And maybe I put too much into it. Maybe I think about it as too much of, like, maybe I got to be looser about it, But I'm like, how the fuck do people do this? It's one of the craziest things to do, to bring a bunch of people into a room, to get them to shut the fuck up and listen to you.
Shut the fuck up, not pay attention to their phone.
Right.
Fucking listen.
And then beyond that, you hope to make them laugh.
Right.
Like, I'm so happy that's not my pursuit in life.
I've had people be like, well, why don't you try stand-up? I'm like, that ain't me, man.
But that's why they're sexy. That's why comics are sexy, okay? Because that's some daredevil shit. I'm like, you do that?
Well, it's some daredevil shit, but there's also some mental illness that comes with it, too.
I mean, there's gotta be. You're literally standing in front of a firing squad every night, sometimes multiple times a night.
And sometimes doing it multiple times a night at a great expense to yourself financially.
Yeah.
Like, especially when people are starting off, like, people are not getting paid. People are getting up multiple times a night, driving across the city.
Yeah.
Or taking trains across the city to do this in front of multiple different rooms for no fucking money. One of the things that, like, because I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. When I was in Tokyo in November, I interviewed the guys who own the only Western-style comedy club in Tokyo.
Cool.
And one of the questions I had from them was like, what motivates you guys to do this? Because, like, if you're getting up in LA or New York, the goal is eventually that you're going to be a nationally touring comic. You're going to be making your living doing stand-up. But if you're doing Western-style comedy in a market like Tokyo, what motivates you to get up every night in front of this firing squad that may not even speak your fucking language?
Right, exactly. Like the language, imagine a language barrier up against you, but they do this. Comics do this. I'm like, you are superhuman, dude. Like, what does scare you? That's what I'm going to ask comics from now. Like, what does scare you, though? Straight up.
Probably commitment, but...
Yeah, let's be real. Right? Yeah. Any previous experience with that, Laura? But like commitment for sure, for sure. I think you have to be really like self-obsessed in that line of work because you have to be able to keep yourself going.
You do. And
I don't think you have a lot of room for other people.
no, and it's in a lot of cases, it's not like a band where like
No.
you have other members of the band. Like, if your lead singer's having a down day, there's 3 other members of the band be like, no, man, the show must go on. We're in this together. We're a band of brothers on this shit.
Nah, you're a one-person army.
You have one person army, and your peers may actually be trying to actively hurt you.
Yeah, think about the competition in that in itself, especially in cities like LA and New York. Like, oof, that's tough stuff.
Yeah.
That's tough. Listen, my heart goes out to the comics of the world. Just keep doing it because I'm in awe of you and you're sexy as hell. Sexy.
And they're providing a necessary fucking service.
Yeah, and you know what that is? That is also an art form that I feel, yes, it's been influenced by the threat of cancel culture. And yes, we've lost some great creators within comedy that have just crumbled to the potential of, I don't ever want to be canceled, but there are a lot of motherfuckers that are still standing their damn ground and they're saying, fuck it, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And so I say, keep on you. Keep doing it.
No matter what people have to say about Chappelle, he is one of the greatest to ever fucking do it.
Oh my God. That's why we can listen to him as late into the night as we can. That's why he walks into a club at 2 a.m. and will hold you hostage until 6 o'clock in the morning because, that's you're listening to someone, a brilliant voice, a brilliant voice, truly.
One of my biggest problems when people want to cancel comedians for the material is like, one, no one is forcing you to listen to this.
Right.
Absolutely. You can just leave. You don't.
Well, a lot of the times, I mean, it's a dangerous thing to talk about, of course, right? Because, cancel culture, we find our reasons to cancel and we sometimes hear certain speech in the way that we want to. I don't believe you have to listen. Is the speech meant to action harm against others?
Right. Intent matters.
Right. Is the speech actively influencing people to take out an effort or an action against another group of people? I can't get down with that shit. Obviously. I cannot get that's not my shit. That's propaganda. That's Hitler level rallying. Like, I can't get behind that. But we have to be able to comment on the world that we live within. We have to. That's our responsibility as self-aware humans that want to reflect, perhaps improve, perhaps question. We have to be able to go there.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
And it's satire. It's jokes. Like, if it's not for you, if this is not your cup of tea, you don't have the right to cancel this person because you don't agree with the joke they're making.
Right. I mean, it's again, it's not meant to be take this piece of speech and actively look to eradicate a certain group of people because I said this thing. That's unless that's what's been expressed, it's not what it is. Like you have to, I don't know, maybe this is going to be so dangerous. I know it is already. But it's a very challenging world we live in right now when it comes to, even getting close to something that might be a hot topic.
It is. Yeah. It is. I mean, and back to why I love podcasting is come for me.
Yeah.
Like, no one's trying to cast me. Like,
if you really? You haven't had one yet?
Occasionally non-sex performances in porns, but
let's go there. Let's say some dangerous shit. I'm kidding. Let's not. Please.
But it's one of those things where, like, that's part of the reason I have zero fear of expressing myself on here is because it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to kick me off my own fucking show?
It is your show.
Right.
It is your show. I say keep at it too. Soldier on. See what happens.
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out, right, Matt?
Oh, fuck yes. And that's why I encourage my guests to, too. I mean, at their own peril, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, if tomorrow you're like, hey, Matt, let's cut all this shit up, I'd be like, okay, and it's gone.
Yeah, cool.
Because, like, I don't, as much as I'll encourage bad behavior out of people or encourage people to be free with what they have to say, I'm also not looking to aid and abet them, ruining themselves unless they're cool with it.
Yeah, no, I'm down with that. Which means, hey, forward me the tapes. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But I am going to say, I'm going to bid everyone a good night now because I am approaching my social drainage. I have had a long day in Los Angeles. I have had a long day entertaining the masses in the form of podcasts and content creation. I am very delighted that this was my big finale, though. Thank you.
thrilled that you made it. We will have to do it again.
We absolutely will
Laura,
do this.
before you get out of here, while we call last call, where can they find you on the things?
Everybody, I am waiting to be best friends with you. Please do find me at lauraxdesiree.me. I'm on all the platforms under Laura Desiree. Come hang out. Check me out on all of it. And maybe check out a California Pinot Noir sometime if you want to really feel this good. Thank you, Matt.
My pleasure, Laura. And until next week, drink up, motherfuckers.